Welcome, food travelers, to another episode here in Singapore. In this episode, we're sharing our experience at the Colony Buffet at the Ritz Carlton Hotel in Singapore. And reservations are required, and they do have a dress code listed on their website. It was also listed in the reservation reminder as they stated that in the table will be held for up to 15 minutes after the reservation timing. And the dress code does states that it's smart casual with no slippers or activewear, and covered shoes are required for gentlemen.
Yeah, it seemed like it's the Ritz Carlton, so Ritz Carlton has a famous name to it, and it's fancy. But just seeing the footage and everything and the requirements, definitely a fancy buffet.
Yeah, and some information about this restaurant. They are open from Mondays to Fridays for lunch, from 12 p.m. to 2:30, with the last order at 2:15 p.m. And at the time of this recording, it was 92 Singapore dollars per adult and 46 Singapore dollars for children 6 to 12 years of age. That is about 68 US dollars for adults and $34 for children.
Yeah, there's a lot of really interesting things, Micah. When I was looking through the footage, that I really thought it was pretty cool, and I've seen it a few places here and there. But one of the things I really liked was just the honey. They're using the honeycomb bar thing. I forgot what they call it exactly, but using that to kind of scoop up the honey. I think just little tiny small touches, things like that, make kind of the experience, especially buffet wise, pretty cool. It just kind of makes, like, I want to say immersive, but not really immersive. But it's just cool to see.
Yeah, it was definitely something different. And that's another reason why I actually got the honey. I actually wanted to play with that honey stick. I thought that was interesting myself too. And one thing I wanted to point out is when you were entering this restaurant, it kind of reminded me of that buffet that we went to in Las Vegas at the Wynn Hotel, with kind of like the natural lighting coming from the ceiling. Do you remember that, Simon?
The Wynn Hotel has the buffet. That's the name of the buffet at the Wynn, is the buffet. And yeah, that one, the interior for the Wynn buffet, definitely it has these glass ceiling tops that kind of let the light come in, and so you really definitely get a nice kind of natural light that comes in while you're eating over there.
Yeah, and also, like, with this name, the Colony, I feel like this restaurant, they actually made a lot of effort making it like the name itself, the Colony, with the decorations around, with vintage maps, the postcards from the walls showing like historical connections from the trade routes from the colonial period of time through Singapore and Southeast Asia, and that high arched glass ceiling, the vintage like window panes and the frame designs, and also like the color of the wooden tables. I think everything combined is pretty good.
I would agree. It definitely follows their brand for what they are. So definitely, like, just the look and everything, as you mentioned, it definitely, to me, screams Ritz Carlton, and it kind of has that feel and that look to it. I saw that with all the windows and everything there. How high up were you, if you were even high on any other floor than the ground floor?
The restaurant pretty much is on the ground floor. I don't quite understand what you mean, how high up we are.
Just looking at the interiors and everything, it just kind of seemed like it was on a high rise, and it was on like the 20th floor of the hotel, and you had this view. But I guess just the normal ground floor, which is okay.
Yeah, it was pretty much just the ground floor, and with this buffet, they actually have 7 open kitchens. As you're seeing this walkthrough here, there's quite a bit of things that they do offer, and they have this ginormous like bread section that we usually always avoid bread because we don't want to fill up ourselves up with carbs. But for this visit, I was just looking at all the bread, and it just smells so good. It smells so fresh, and I probably ate at least a good plate of bread.
And looking at the footage, Micah, I think I would probably have tried some stuff as well, because the display they had was pretty amazing looking. Do you know if they actually made all those different breads in-house?
I believe so, Simon. I think everything was made in house. You could see the chefs behind every single station just looking through everything, and they're just cooking through everything that they have there. I believe everything is made in house. And also with that noodle station, one of the dishes is made with the cognac, and it just looks like they were pouring like less than a shot. And I remember we were talking about that too, and I kind of wish they would give you a lot more cognac in the soup.
Yeah, I agree. I know that discussion. It just but just because the name of what they named the soup, and then just seeing what they actually put in, it just kind of seemed like, well, it was just kind of a gimmick. Not being a gimmick, because they actually did put it in, but it was just such a small amount. It kind of seemed like, okay, is it really a part of the soup, or you just put it in just so you can call it that?
Yeah, that is definitely a questionable part of the ingredients. So moving along with this buffet, they definitely have a lot of Indian like dishes, and you saw with the mango lassi and all this other flavors that they have here, and they also have a pizza station that they hand make the pizza dough in, and you can see like the pizza oven in the background, and they have a whole area just for noodles as well.
Yeah, it seems like they have a pretty good variety, and to me, the buffet looked like it was pretty large size compared to, let's say, Bacchanal over at Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas. How would you say the size comparison is?
I would definitely say it's way smaller than that. I really do feel like Bacchanal is huge inside. I mean, there's so much varieties with Bacchanal, and being in America, you just have a lot more land and building space that you can put everything to. But in terms of variety, I still feel like the seafood in this buffet is somewhat lacking. Maybe because it's lunchtime. I didn't see any like lobster claws or really like big crab claws or anything like that. They were more limited in what they had, but they did make a lot of other dishes. In terms of like sashimi and stuff, they were kind of limited on that too. They did state that there was only salmon, tuna, and octopus, and some rice rolls. And one thing I did really appreciate with this buffet is when you make your reservations online, they actually send you an email confirmation with a PDF attachment link that you could kind of preview what they would offer before you go there. I don't know any other buffets that actually do that here in the US.
Yeah, I don't think there are any that, at least that we've been to or I've been to, that does that. I mean, that definitely helps if you're making a plan of what to consume. That definitely helps to make a plan for what you want to eat, especially with things like sashimi. From the look of it, it looked really like they were pretty good fresh pieces, something you would get from a high-end sushi restaurant rather than, if you went to more of the, I don't want to say conveyor, because there's some good conveyor belt restaurants, but just in that sense.
Yeah, they were really fresh. They were really good. I did go up for a few plates of that. And for the dessert section, I thought it was really pretty. Everything, with Asian buffets, they always make like a really good effort laying everything out and having all the decorations and placing all the items so neatly and so pretty to look at. I mean, taste-wise, they're really good too, but just looking at it, it's just so pretty.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely eye-pleasing. One of the things I do love about, especially when you purchase items from either like Japan or Korea, and the amount of effort and detail they go into packaging the things you get, it's just amazing. And to me, this is like the buffet food version of packaging things amazingly that makes you want to eat everything.
And at the time of this recording, at the front of the dessert section, they actually had these cakes that were pre-made that you can actually, I think, order or just buy to go. I think that was pretty good, neat idea that they had. There's not that many. I mean, there are some. I remember when we were in Reno that they would make cakes and you can buy them to go as well. But there really should be more buffets that do this.
Yeah, I think it definitely would help in terms of getting some extra sales or kind of at least getting the dessert section that little additional push. And I believe the buffet in Reno you're talking about is Charlie's buffet,
That is correct.
Toucan Charlie's to be specific. And that one, I remember they had full size desserts that you can get, huge slices of cakes or pies that you actually wanted, and you can actually buy whole pies and cakes to go with you. So that's pretty cool that they do it over here.
Yeah, and looking at these search section, these items that I got, I really did enjoy those macaroons. I mean, macaroons in general, I know a lot of buffets they do make them, but I mean, it's just the texture of the ones that they make here. They really are nice and chewy and soft. There are some that we've had where you eat them and you're like, I don't think I want another bite of this.
Outside of the texture of the macaroon, how was the sweetness? For me, I always find that's where I kind of get hit with either I really like it or I really don't like it. Is with the sweetness. There's some I've gone and it's just almost seems like they dump a pound of sugar into one macaroon, and then there's others where it's balanced just right, and so you hit the kind of that target, that mark, that bullseye where it's just perfectly nice and sweet without being too sweet, and then the texture with the chewy and softness with the crispy outer layer, and that combination altogether works out just perfect as a macaroon should.
Yeah, this one definitely not overpowering, not overly sweet. It was definitely something I actually went back and got a couple more of. But overall, this buffet is really good. Definitely worth a visit if you are in Singapore. And to wrap up the episode are the notables. Unfortunately for this one, there are none.
If you've enjoyed the content you've seen, don't forget to support the channel and hit like and subscribe. And if you want to see additional pictures of food and our travels, go over to our Instagram page and follow us there. And thanks for watching.